the people that I know that are the most successful and happy have more uncomfortable conversations.
Agreed.
They have more uncomfortable days. They have more discomfort in their lives.
Yes, totally agree with that.
But selected discomfort. But one of the other things that I'm asking from now, I'm like going into like the people that I know that I'm thinking about, I can see their faces and I want them to know that I'm asking for them. A lot of the time, one more in the wrong direction
That's right.
can also be really misguiding. Sometimes people, and I know you're a person of faith too, and so we can touch on this. Sometimes we're climbing the mountain and we keep doing one more, but we're actually going further away from who we are, who we want to be, our faith, our partners, right? We know people who've built multi-billion-dollar companies but lost their kids.
That's right.
Or they've become famous and rich, but their partner cheated on them, or like really painful stuff. And people who didn't do all of that, and that's happened too.
Sure.
Like it's both ways. How does one use one more and make sure it's in the right direction?
Such a great question. I'm doing this now regularly because I've made some of those mistakes and what I do is I check in with myself one more time, meaning it's important to ask yourself, what matters to me now? See, if we had this conversation 20 years ago, the things that mattered to me then are so different than what matter to me now. But a lot of us keep operating out of what used to. Maybe you've achieved or are pursuing a dream, and it's really, truly no longer your dream. It's no longer your dream. It's when I was young, listen, if we were going to do a podcast, you say, hey, I need you on the show. People are going to love you. You're going to get recognition. You're going to get all this acknowledgement. And that would have been my hot button, my need. I believe in the 6 human needs. My need was significance and recognition. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. And so that's the button to get me to move would be significance, recognition. Well, I've been blessed the last 30 years or so of my life to have a beautiful abundance of significance and recognition. It's no longer what fills me. Now you get me to do an interview, you go, hey, I really think we could help some people. My big button in my life now is contribution. There was another stage in my life, it's still there, but hey, if you go there, you'll grow. I still want to grow, but I know me now. Right now, I'm in a season of my life that's contribution. It's giving. It's what fills my heart. And I think it's checking in with yourself one more time. What matters to me now? What do I want now? What's important to me now? What season? Maybe you're in a season where you need to rest. Maybe your spirit and everything about you is telling you, hey, it's time to feed you again. It's time to recharge. If that's the season, then answer that call. Don't play out of a past playbook. And so for me, that's the season I'm in now. And I'm sure that in 5 or 8 more years, there'll be something else. But I regularly, on a monthly basis, you recommend it in your book so beautifully about your relationship, checking in. You have these strategies you teach about weekly and monthly and quarterly and yearly with your partner of checking in with them. I also recommend you check in with yourself and what matters to you now. And so for me, it's a matter of checking in now so that I don't lose my family in the pursuit of my business or lose me.
Yeah.
Lose me. Who am I anymore? And I've had times where I'm like, this doesn't feel like me anymore.
Yeah.
And I had at least the ability to at least acknowledge that and make a change.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up seasons because I feel like no one on planet Earth, we don't have the power to change the season.
Yeah.
But you have the power to live the season well.
That's right.
You can either be right now it's been raining, right? Wherever we are. It's been like pouring down with rain. There's all this effort. You could carry an umbrella. Well, you can tell how I'm dressed.
Right.
I'm definitely not dressed in my usual gear.
Right.
Because I'm dressed for the rain. I'm prepared.
Yes.
Because that's all I can do. I can't make the rain switch off. I can't stop it, right? Like I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I love hearing that you're just learning how to thrive in the season. And so if your season's telling you to rest, you can't force the season. And you have to live it through. You have to experience it.
I think you have to remember one thing, man. I think it's just easy as a person to forget this. And I just would love to say this because you have such an amazing reach. Each of you and I included, we were born to do something great with our life. We were born to do something great with our life. And it's important to check in from time to time of what that current great thing is. And sometimes we think it's the big things. It's the people that are on both our shows. They've made this big movie. They've got this big song. They're this big thing. Who's greater? The man who helped my dad get sober or the fact that maybe I've helped some people because my dad got sober. That one act was greatness in his life, that kind moment with another person that says, I can help you. Let me connect with you. And so don't discount your own greatness, your own call to do something great. And it doesn't have to be a script or a play or a book or a speech or on social media. It's just doing something great, and you matter. I don't mean this hokey. I'm telling you the truth about you. You matter. You were born to do something awesome with your life. Your family's supposed to do something great as a family. And maybe it's just checking in and reminding yourself of that, and then asking yourself, what is that thing right now in my life? And so I just think that reminder is so important that, it's great to voyeuristically look in on successful people or what we think are successful people. It's also important that the camera turn back on you and go, you matter. You matter. You are great. And that's probably the most important thing we'd say today.
Oh, gosh, man. Yeah. And one thing you just clarified beautifully is that great doesn't have to be big.
No.
And big doesn't mean great, right? And I think we're so obsessed today.
We are.
In that to do something great, it has to be big, it has to be bold. When I think about myself, honestly, Ed, and I can say this to you because I think in these sessions and when we spend time together, you've heard my heart. I was one of those people who actually never believed I could do any of the stuff I've done. I never set out when I started and I was like, oh, one day I'm going to be, I didn't have any of that. That's not how I'm wired. I was wired in like, I want to serve. I'm going to serve whoever comes, whether it's 5 people, 10 people, I'm happy. I'll serve them. And as I started to do that, I got more confidence. Like, okay, now I want to serve larger groups. Okay, let me serve them. And then it was like, and I never believed at any point that there were these arbitrary, abstract goals of like, number one this, and like those weren't how I set out. And so when I'm listening to you speak, I hope someone's out there thinking, Jay and Ed, I'm like you guys, where it's like, I don't vibe with all that like motivation, I just vibe with the fact that I want to have a great impact, like the person that helped your father.
Yeah, and you know what we've both found in our life too, just to give you insight from someone called me seasoned today. This is that the universe or God really prepares you to step into the next room when you step in with some faith. And so maybe it does start with 5 or 6 people, and maybe that's enough, but perhaps in that space you're in, there'll be a little door open. And if you step into that one, you'll find, we think I have to have it all figured out. Wozniak's a good buddy of mine who started Apple. They didn't, they were a board company. They didn't know they'd be doing this someday. They stepped into the next space. And one thing I think we also want is an immediate result. And I talk about this in the book. Maybe this will be the last little thing I'll share with you. But I went to a birthday party as I was writing the book, and it was for a young boy. And they had a piñata. We've all been to especially if you live in California, the piñata. And so what they did is they took each of these little guys, they blindfolded them and spun them around, and they're all dizzy and they're swinging and they're not even near the piñata. That's life. A lot of times you feel like, man, I'm blind. I don't even know where I'm swinging right now, but I'm swinging. And so each kid hit the piñata and the candy didn't come out. And so they take the blindfold off. That kid got tired. The next little boy came up, spun him around. So like 7 of them hit this piñata. No candy came out. The last boy, the smallest boy, the youngest boy there, they throw the blindfold on him. They spin him around. He's swinging too. That's life. You just sort of swinging, right? They finally point him at the piñata. He hits the piñata just once. Bam. All the candy comes out. And all the kids jump on and celebrate. And I'm watching that and I'm going, now who broke the piñata? Was it the last shot? Or was it the cumulative blows of each of the shots on the piñata? Well, we all know the answer. It was the cumulative shots. Life's a lot like that, man. That we're taking shots, but we don't see any physical progress. But every one more we're doing is compound pounding progress. And in life, you have to be willing to buy into what is invisible progress. Most people quit on their dream, quit on their vision before the candy comes out. And what you and I didn't do is quit. We just kept swinging. And eventually the candy comes out. The candy could be your bliss, your joy, your financial success, your notoriety, your contribution. But most people are hitting the piñata of their life and there's no evidence it's working. But the truth is there's a compound pounding effect in life that if you keep hitting your life's piñata, if you'll stick around, there'll be some candy come out.
The power of one more, everyone. Ed Mylett. Go and grab this book if you haven't already. It's going to be a life changer. I mean, you can just feel the energy coming off this human being. Honestly, I want you to go read this book. I want you to go listen to the podcast if you don't already. The first book was called Max Out Your Life as well, the Max Out podcast. Ed, you are just, your energy is infectious. I don't know how anyone can't listen to you, read from you, hear from you, and not feel like they need to change their life. Like, you've just given me a list of number ones that I'm going to do. One more. I hope that you keep coming back on the show. I hope that we keep getting to connect offline. I hope that we get to, keep spending one more day, one more phone call, one more time together, because
So grateful for you, bro. I love
really
you.
grateful, man. Thank you so
man.
much.
I love you.
Thank you. Everyone grab the copy of the book. I'll put it in the link. I'll put it in the comment section, in the caption. The Power of One More. This is the book. Love it, brother.
Thanks, brother.
That was
good.
That was good.
That was good.